buried, that they've actually been trying to unbury for the last year. So my thought was about HAARP. Was HAARP there? Did HAARP create that earthquake? If so, why? Other than because of the gold. But there's also oil under there, too. So, I mean, there's probably many reasons. But I have not been able to research it because I've not had the opportunity. But, Stephen, did you have a chance to look it up to see if there was any U.S. ships any place around Hades before that earthquake occurred?
The answer is yes. And what I can tell you is HAARP was responsible for the Haiti earthquake because they wanted to rape the island of its natural resources. And right now there's a company in Canada that is working around the clock to extract the gold out of the mountains of Haiti. They also have on the Dominican Republic side another company there, and they're drilling there in Dominican Republic because they know the island is rich of gold, silver, and other minerals.
And so people probably don't know, well, some people don't know what HAARP is. Can you maybe explain what HAARP is in a really nice, easy way so people get it?
HAARP was a technology that was invented by Nikola Tesla, who that invention was stolen by George H. Scherf Jr., alias George Bush, given to the Nazis and the Americans, and that technology is used either in Alaska or on U.S. Navy vessels to create earthquakes and move plates around, shift plates, and cause either tsunamis, tidal waves, or earthquakes by using this Nikola Tesla stolen technology that George H. Scherf, alias George Bush, was responsible for stealing back in the early 1940s.
And so a lot of people have started to notice HAARP. They've started to notice that when an earthquake of great proportion happens, that they have this unusual bluish colored glow around it, which would indicate there's some kind of electromagnetic field, because earthquakes really don't produce blue anything. But when HAARP has been discovered to be at one of the locations that has had something like this occur, or whatever, there's this bluish glow. Did you hear about that?
Yes, I've heard about that. I've spoke to Jerry Thomas, who's been on your show, good friend of mine, who is a scientist, and we've talked about it, and he agrees with me wholeheartedly, and he will also give me scientific information regarding that technology. But this government, with the CIA and other covert groups in it, are responsible for the new weapon of the future.
And that new weapon of the future is to do what with?
That new weapon can have countries on their knees, cause massive destruction if these countries do not want to play ball the way the United States policies dictate.
Do you think, Stephen, that our government is in this all by themselves, or do you think there's some other governments that are in it with the United States?
Oh, there's a number of other governments together with it, and if you can follow the money trail, you'd be able to find out who these financiers of this craziness really are.
And is there a way to follow the money trail?
Yes, there is.
And that might be how?
Well, you've got Chase Manhattan Bank of Thailand, number one, J.P. Morgan, and Citibank of Thailand, with three banks there that are controlled by Barack's father. Yes, there is. There's an 11-digit SWIFT code. It's an SWIT code, and that SWIFT code shows the routing numbers of where this money is going to. If you can subpoena these three companies, you can prove where the money is going. You can see that Thailand is a very big player in the money laundering behind these HARP and other black operation covert groups operations.
If people wanted to follow this money trail, well, first of all, let's say if people would believe it enough to follow the money trail, they would find out that there are several different origins going on there as far as who wants to be in control. Now, I have been told many times over about the Bilderberg Group, which has a lot of very rich people in it. Is the Bilderberg Group part of this whole conspiracy that has been going on worldwide?
Absolutely.
And in order for them to be able to do that, who are some of the people that are involved with it?
Well, what has to happen, these 99% in New York right now need to go to the United States Attorney General or the New York Attorney General and ask for a subpoena for these 3 banks to have their records investigated.
And do you want to give out those bank names again?
Citibank of New York, Citibank of Thailand, and J.P. Morgan.
Yeah, J.P. Morgan's not doing so well with their big loss that they actually came up with. So the American people struggle, lose their homes, lose their jobs, and can't make it. What point does it stop? And who and what can make it really stop? Stephen, what do you think?
I think that Adolf Hitler's Fourth Reich vision to strangle the American people for the next 1,000 years is slowly affecting all of us. And when people realize that a man like George Herbert Walker Bush, who created the CIA, was responsible for being in the grassy knoll and firing the shot at Kennedy while he was in the car, people need to know that he is the same person that 20 minutes after the shooting was photographed in front of the Texas Book Depository. Then people have to wake up to realize that we need to steamroll him, steamroll Washington, and clear out that whole 10-mile radius of the District of Columbia so it is no more.
It's going to take a lot of people, Stephen, to, one, believe in themselves, which they've been beat so hard, they have a hard time with that, and two, to stand their ground because they are so afraid of what the repercussions are that will happen to them. And my thought with that is that they have no idea what repercussions they're having right now and the more to come by not standing their ground. Our constitutional rights have been violated for a long, long time. And if people would read the Constitution, they would read the Bill of Rights, they would find out that we basically have none because we have surrendered them. And it is time to abide by them again. So I want you to repeat the websites that you gave out during the first hour, please.
Well, I will, before I give them out, I'd like to say one thing. I will be remembered for 3 things. One will be for blowing the whistle on 9/11. 2, for coming forward about Barack Obama posing as Osama bin Laden. And 3, Barack Obama's identity as the Prince Aduyade of Thailand. And the 4th thing I'll be remembered for is giving out right now information that Adolf Hitler lived in Bethesda, Maryland as William Coates, and when he died, he had 9 children, 21 grandchildren, and 37 great-grandchildren. Right now, anyone can look it up. Look up the name Bill Coates, C-O-A-T-E-S. You'll find a man who worked in a software development for a government contractor who was a spitting image of his father, which would prove that Adolf Hitler lived in the United States, was harbored here at the expense of the American taxpayers, and the history that we've been fed is a bald-faced lie.
Okay. So what websites can they go to?
they can go to youtube.com/WEBFLIXSGUY. That's youtube.com/WEBFLIXSGUY. Or they can go youtube.com/SINDONI Productions. That's youtube.com/SINDONI PRODUCTIONS. That's youtube.com/Sindoni Productions. Or they can go to StevensWorldTV.com. That's STEPHENSWORLD TV.com. They can go to ObamaIsOsama.WEBS.com. That is ObamaIsOsama.WEBS.com.
So, Stephen, is there anything in the next 2 minutes that you think you want to cover real quick that we haven't covered?
Well, I would just like to say to the people that are listening to this show, who've listened to 2 hours worth of crosstalk and chatter, that for this to happen today, there must be a lot of people worried about the truth that was expounded upon by myself and Nancy today. And I encourage everyone to do their own research, not to accept anything for face value, but to really investigate everything, to trust whatever they get and not accept things as though it's truth just because the ink is dry in a newspaper.
Yeah, or the media says what they need to say. Now, Stephen, I know that a lot of people are probably going to, be upset because of what we've said today. I think we said it in a very good way. I think we used total truth, and I do not feel bad about anything that was said, and I'm sure you don't either. And I am hoping that people will start to get strong enough to know that it is up to them to take the responsibility to bring this country back to the wonderful, powerful nation that it once was, without all of these unscrupulous people trying to control us and really destroy us. So I'm hoping, whether they agree with us or not, Stephen, that they will at least look into everything that we have talked about, and through that, in their own research, maybe it will help the nation wake up so that when we decide on what we're going to do for our president or voting or whatever it is, that we come from our heart, our true heart, and do it with love. And hopefully through that, our nation that was once very, very great will be back as great as it was then, and continue to be great with the people who are trying to make a difference. So I would like to thank everybody who listened today. And Stephen, I'm really glad that you came on and you talked about all the facts that you have, regardless where people believe it or not. And next week, it's going to be the same kind of show, so if you're squeamish, then don't listen. But if you're curious and you want to know more truth, then by all means, you turn in. So Stephen, I want to thank you for coming on, making your comments, giving out the facts, and I certainly hope people want to listen and they search it for themselves to find out the truth. We gave out a lot of websites today. Please check each and every one of them out. Until next week, my final week, may God bless all of you. Come from your heart with love, and wake up, folks. Thank you very much for listening. And Stephen, thank you for being on. Take care, everyone.